Once you are in the Hawks software and are doing the practice and certify, you want to be able to use the tools that are necessary. So I've developed a web test, which is just a practice thing of 10 questions, giving a variety of kinds of questions in which we're asked to input into the keyboard to the software answers. So here's a question. Find the equation in slope-intercept form of the line with the given slope that passes through these points. Now, this is a typical screen, and this is a question relating to Chapter 3, so we're ahead. But generally, on every screen you run into, there will be a keypad. Let's take a look at the keypad here. So here, if we have a number that we want to raise to a power, we'd click on this. Here, this would be a subscript, something to, like, say, sub 1 or a or something. If you wanted to take the square root of something, where the index number here would be 2, you'd use this. Now, if the index number is something other than 2, you'd use this one, where you'd put, let's say, a 3, a 4, or a 5 there, and then write the radicand. And then this is anytime you want to use a fraction. Now here, parentheses in a bracket, bracket in a parentheses, two brackets, two braces, the absolute sign, and these are pretty much self-explanatory. And in this course, you don't get to use them all, but these are the ones that are featured. Okay, now for this one, I'll close that. Again, you don't know the protocol yet. We haven't done this, but any line that is a slope of 0 has the form of y equals b. So the answer to this one would be y equals, and I'm just using my keyboard, and in the ordered pair it's a comma b or x comma y, so our b value here is 6. Now it's not going to tell me the answers at this stage, because I'm doing this as a practice test to use the various items in the software. Now in this next example, we're asked to solve this equation. This is from Chapter 2. So I would move the negative 2y over to this side where it becomes a positive 2y, divide both sides by 2, and I get y equals a negative, and I can just use my keyboard for that, a negative 8. But I have to highlight the key here. Let's see, negative 8. Okay, notice they give you the y equals something. In some cases, you had to put the y in. All right, let's go on. Now here, if we know the perimeter of a square is this, find the length of one side. Well, here you're thinking there are 4 sides, they're all equal, so you're going to divide 38 by 4. Now, there doesn't seem to be a place to put the answer in, but if you use the scroll bar to go down, here they're asking you first, this is in 3 steps, what formula would you use for this? Well, it'd be this one, perimeter equals 4s. We click on that, and there are some other formulas there. And then now they're asking what would the side be, and that would be 9.5. Again, you can just use your keyboard for this, 9.5. And they're asking us for without substitution, find the formula. All right. So it was S. I have to read the questions properly here. So I put in the S equals. Now I'm going to use my keypad because I need a fraction. And that's going to be capital P and then over 4. So again, we're not showing particularly how to do these, but to use the tools. And going down, they're asking for the answer, 9.5. So just using my keyboard here, and I didn't get the period in there. Let's see here. There we go. And again, never hurts to check your work. Now in this one, this is from chapter 1. They want you to use X and Y for the unknowns. So 5 times the sum of a 1 and a number. So again, thinking of this is going to be 5. Now I need parentheses to indicate a sum, so I'm going to just use the tool pad here, or I could have used my keyboard to put in parentheses. So 1 plus X, just using my keyboard here. So 5 times the sum of 1 and a number. Now I could have written that X plus 1. That may have been the preferred way. In fact, I'm going to reverse that and do it that way. So if you change your mind about something, it allows you to go back in there and do it. I like it that way. Now, the use of parentheses to indicate a sum, that's critical here because it's 5 times the sum of this. And we'll stress that in the course. All right, going on. Now here they're asking us to take the negative of the square root of 9. Well, since the negative is outside, my answer is going to be negative, so I just type that. And the square root of 9 is 3. So again, this is just straightforward. Now for the circle here indicating not a real number, if that negative sign was under the radical sign, the square root of a negative 9, that would not be a real number. But again, we're not doing the lesson here. We're featuring the keypad and ways to put answers into the system. Now, here's one that relates to the end of chapter 2. Write the solution using interval notation. Well, we have to solve this first. Subtract 5 from both sides, and we get that 3z is greater than or equal to 15. Divide both sides by 3, and we get z is greater than or equal to 5. Now we have to put that in interval notation. Again, I'm going to use my keypad because here I'm going to need a bracket and a parenthesis in that order. So I go over here to my keypad, a bracket and a parenthesis. Click on that. And now I'm going to put in there a 5, a comma, and then I have to use the infinity sign, which is right there. So this is interval notation, where I've used the keypad after I've solved this. Again, we're not going through the protocol of getting the answers, just putting them into the system. Now they're going to ask me to graph that also. So we did that part, and now they want us to put this on a graph. So there's your typical number line. And what did we have? Well, we had a bracket and a parenthesis. So I click on this, and that forms. Now I'm going to infinity, so I'm going to take this, extend it out, makes the ellipses. That's positive infinity on the right side. Now I have to use this to move it to where there is a 5, and notice the numbers change, and there's the 5. So again, using the proper tool to put your answer into the software. Let's go on. Now here they're asking us to do this equation, this function, where our x value, which is an exponent, will be 9 months. And they want us to round the answer to the nearest cent. All right, I'm going to put that into my calculator to get the answer. So using my calculator, I put in 500. Then I added these together. I got in parentheses 1.13, close parenthesis, and then caret, put the exponent in of 9. When I did that, I got this on my calculator. But if I were to put that into the system, they would count it wrong because they're asking you to round to the nearest cent. So I'm going to go here to just 3 places of a decimal. I look at that third place, it says 0, so I'm just going to drop it, and that is my answer. All right, now here you're asked to put in exponents. Again, we're not going over the rules, but we could just type in an X, and going to our keypad, I want to now put an exponent in. I've clicked on this, and now it's the exponent, and here we just add exponents, and it's 6. So again, wanted to use this tool of putting in the exponent. Now there is a shortcut key on your keyboard, which is Shift 6. If you do that, that's a shortcut. And there's also a shortcut for putting in fractions. But again, we're looking at the keypad and those tools. Let's go on. So here it's just putting these numbers on the number line. And all we have to do here is click. So -5, we go to -5 and click. Notice it comes up. A -4.5 would be in the middle there. 4.5, -3. So something easy. And then a +3. So just click and that does it. Okay, now here, this is a rather complex one in which they want us to find the vertex of this particular quadratic equation. Now we're in chapter 5. So the vertex is going to be an ordered pair. So I think we know how to put an ordered pair in. And again, instead of using the keypad, I'm going to just use the keyboard. I'm going to use Shift and then parenthesis, and it forms there. So I'll figure out the answer and put it in. So after figuring out what that ordered pair would be, it's a -4. I have the parentheses there already. I have to put a comma in. And then I got a +3. So this is the vertex, and it was just putting in that ordered pair using parentheses. Now here we're asked to find the axis of symmetry, which is a vertical line. So again, the answer is x equals, I can use my keyboard for that, x equals -4. Again, you don't know how to do that yet, but when we take the class and do the lessons. Now here we're asked to find the X intercepts, and we have to determine how many there are. So I will work this out and we'll put the answers in. Here I have found out that there are 2 X intercepts, And now they're asking us to put them in these boxes. So I'm going to use my keypad because they're rather complicated. I need to use a parenthesis because they are ordered pairs. And I can just highlight that and put the parentheses there. And I'm going to need fractions, so I put a fraction there. And I get for one answer -8 minus, using my negative sign, now I have to use the square root sign, square root of 6. Then I go down to the denominator, and it's over 2 here. Then I have to go off of those, put a comma in, because I'm writing an ordered pair, and it's 0. Again, you're not expected at this stage to know how to solve this and get this answer. This is just putting work into the computer software here. I need to have parentheses. I need a fraction bar. And this one's going to be -8 plus the square root of 6 over 2. Again, getting out of it, putting a comma. These are ordered pairs, and then 0. Okay. Again, we're getting practice using our tools. Now we want to find the Y-intercept. Well, if x is 0, our Y-intercept is going to be a -29. So I'm going to use my keyboard just to put in parentheses here. Shift parenthesis. And then it's 0, comma, -29. Okay. Now, we have to determine 2 more points on the graph, and then we're going to graph this. So again, this is not things you're going to be doing until way after midterm, but we'll show you the tools at this time. So I've put these points in as ordered pairs, and now we're going to be asked to graph this. And this is the typical graph they give you for graphing a quadratic equation. Now the first thing we're going to do is put this on our vertex, which is -4, 3. So I'm going to go -4, 3. And I have it there. Now I have to plot one other point. The others that I didn't suit me because they're off the graph. So I tried a -3 and I ended up with a 1. So I'm going to take this point, drag it down to -3, 1. And notice the other side forms and our Y-intercept is off the graph. And I believe we're getting close to the end. And that is the last item. So hopefully helpful in putting answers into the software using the keypad.